Step into the chaos of medieval Europe, where dark magic and religious conflict collide. Shadows over Silesia gives us just that. This game throws you right into the gritty reality of 15th century Central Europe, where myth and history blur together. Here's why this title deserves your attention, and where it might miss the mark. Shadows over Silesia is an indie gem that pulls you into an interesting but tough world. Set during the Hussite Wars, the game is a mix of history, mythology, and supernatural elements. This blend makes it very immersive. You genuinely feel like you're navigating the chaos of medieval Europe, where superstition is reality and trust is in short supply. The visual style complements this atmosphere perfectly. The game uses an isometric perspective, which is a refreshing choice for the genre, lending a nostalgic feel while capturing the brutal details of the period. Silesia's world is shrouded in dark magic and foggy towns, and every corner you turn seems to hide a mystery. This eerie aesthetic, combined with a soundtrack that knows exactly how to keep you on edge, brings the setting to life in a way that makes you want to see what's around every corner, even if it means danger. The gameplay is a mix of action, puzzles, and stealth, which gives the game its unique charm and keeps it interesting. One minute, you might be carefully sneaking through enemy camps, and the next, you're solving complex puzzles in a haunted monastery. The stealth mechanics are simple yet effective, keeping your heart racing as you avoid detection in dimly lit ruins. The puzzles can be genuinely challenging. They range from figuring out tricky messages to moving things around in the environment to progress through dark corridors. Some might find these puzzles a bit slow, especially when eager to return to the action, but they add a good bit of challenge. You can tell the developers wanted you to think, not just slash your way through. It makes for a game that respects your intelligence while demanding your attention. Combat is straightforward, which can be both a strength and a flaw. It's not the type of combat that will satisfy fans of deep RPGs with dozens of weapon and skill choices. Instead, it's about timing, blocking, and striking at the right moment. It feels more like a realistic representation of medieval combat. Tough, scrappy, and at times unfair. You're not a superhuman soldier, but rather someone who has to fight smart, or you won't last long. Storytelling is where Shadows over Silesia really shines. You play as two different characters, which gives you varied perspectives on the chaos unfolding across the land. Both storylines are intriguing, involving real historical figures and mystical elements that tie seamlessly into the narrative. There's a constant sense of urgency and paranoia. The game really shows how betrayal lurks everywhere, and alliances can shift in a heartbeat. The supernatural elements are well balanced, just enough to make you question what's real and what is driven by fear and superstition. The blend of real history and mystical parts keeps the story engaging. What works incredibly well is the authenticity. The developers worked hard to make this feel like medieval Europe, with all its grit and superstition. It doesn't glamorize the period. Instead, it highlights the hardships, the fear of the unknown, and the brutality of warfare during the Hussite Wars. There are moments that genuinely shocked me, not due to over-the-top gore, but because of how real and raw they felt. However, it's not without its flaws. The pacing can be inconsistent, especially when you get stuck on a particularly obtuse puzzle, which may frustrate those looking for a more fluid experience. The isometric camera, while visually appealing, can sometimes make navigation a hassle. There were moments where I felt lost, not because of the narrative, but because the path forward wasn't visually clear. If you're tired of formulaic fantasy RPGs and want something that feels fresh and grounded in history, Shadows over Silesia is a great choice. It stands out not just because of its unique setting, but also because it dares to mix historical narrative with unsettling supernatural twists. The game will push you to think, sneak, and fight your way through a story that feels both intimately personal and broadly epic. The characters are more than just avatars. They're people with real fears, hopes, and flaws. The interactions you have, the dialogues, and the choices feel meaningful, even if they don't always have a major impact on the story. It's about how you choose to approach each situation. Do you sneak by the guards or take them head-on, knowing the risks? Shadows over Silesia isn't a game for everyone. It requires patience, a love for storytelling, and a taste for dark, atmospheric settings. The mix of puzzle solving, stealth, and combat might not appeal to those who prefer a more action-heavy experience, but for those who appreciate a well-crafted narrative and historical depth, it's really worth it. If you're in the mood for something different that challenges your skills and thinking, give this game a shot. It's a bit unpolished in parts, but that's also what makes it feel real. It's an indie title that clearly comes from a place of passion, and it shows in every eerie shadow and every cryptic riddle. For me, Shadows over Silesia earns a solid 8 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's ambitious, atmospheric, and engaging, qualities that are becoming increasingly rare. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.